Hey guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again with another Blu-ray review video, and boy do I have a really exciting one for you guys this time around. Thanks to my great friends over at Viavision, we'll be taking a look at the entire first wave of their brand new Imprint Blu-ray label. This is a brand new boutique label of limited edition titles. I think they're going to be releasing them like every 3 months or so. The first wave has 5 titles, and I'm going to be taking a look at all of them in this video. I'm going to be giving you my very brief thoughts on the movies themselves, but mostly we're going to be touching on my thoughts on the transfers that have been used here, the special features, all the bells and whistles, all that kind of stuff. I'll be giving you like little unboxings along the way as well. We're going to be touching on everything, touching all bases. Before we get into all of this, don't forget to hit that like button. It does wonders in getting my content out there. And as always, don't forget to weigh in down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on Viavision's imprint range so far. Do you love the titles that they've included so far? What else would you like to see them include in the future? Look guys, there is plenty to get into, so let's do it. As I said at the top of the video, Viavision's imprint label is a brand new boutique label here on the Australian market. This is essentially pretty much the very first one that we've ever had over here, and I've been dying for one for at least a decade now. So I'm very excited about this range right here. It shows really fantastic potential. If you don't really know what a boutique label is, I guess it's comparable to some of the overseas labels like Eureka, Criterion, Arrow, Indicator Powerhouse, all those kind of labels that do limited edition runs of premium titles. As you can see with the very first range of titles, these all come in really beautiful slipcovers right here, and they are all in limited editions, which means each one, I believe, has a run of 1,000 units each, except for War of the Worlds, which has a run of 1,500 units, because obviously it's the most popular title out of the lot. People have been waiting for War of the Worlds on Blu-ray for a very long time. Another fantastic thing about these is that most of these titles have actually not been released anywhere in the world on Blu-ray, which is another massive tick for me. Saying that, if you guys do want to get your hands on any of the titles that are featured in this video, I would not hesitate to pick them up as soon as you possibly can. I know War of the Worlds in particular has been a really hot seller. As you can see, these are really gorgeously packed in these stunning little slipcovers, which is a rarity here on the Australian market. We rarely ever get any kind of slipcovers or special packaging or anything like that. So straight away, this imprint line has a massive tick from me. I love the way that these are packaged. It's absolutely stunning. Viavision have actually come out and confirmed that some of these titles will receive a second printing. The second printing will not come with slipcovers, so it won't be a limited edition version. It'll just be like a standard version. But they have also said that most titles in the collection probably are unlikely to get that second printing. I imagine it would only be titles like maybe War of the Worlds, which have been a hot seller, that they will actually do a second printing of, but again, you won't get that beautiful slipcover right there. And as you can see, the most annoying thing about collecting titles on the Australian market is those big, ugly ratings logos that we get shoved in the corner, the bottom left-hand corner of the titles. Big, ugly, boisterous, colorful things. The great thing here is the ratings logos that Viavision have included are actually just stickers that are on the shrink wrap. So once you take the shrink wrap off, there is absolutely no certification logos on these sets at all. So essentially these mimic the overseas collections that don't legally have to have their artwork absolutely ruined by these big boisterous certification logos. So again, there is another massive tick from me right there for Viavision. They have obviously got collectors putting this range together who know what they're doing. They know the collector's market. What I really love about these also is that once you take the case out of the slipcover, you've got completely different artwork on the cover of the case itself, which I think is just a really beautiful touch. There's nothing worse than when you get a slipcover of a limited edition thing, you take it out, it's the exact same artwork. I think that's really boring. I love it when these distributors put in a little bit of extra love and care, give you a couple of different options of artworks right there. It really makes the whole thing makes it feel like it's worth putting that little extra bit of money into these titles. As is the case with these collector's lines, as always, these are numbered editions, so you've got a number on the spine of every single one. I know a lot of collectors, when there's a numbered line, they just have to get every single title in the collection because they just can't have a little gap missing. At that, let's do it. Let's get into each individual title, and we're going to start with the number one. That is, of course, the one that I am most excited about, War of the Worlds. 1953's War in the Worlds is one of the most classic science fiction films ever made, if not like the greatest science fiction film ever made. I absolutely love this movie. I've been dying to get my hands on this on Blu-ray for years, and finally, it is available. Now, Imprint Vision have been able to actually get their hands on a brand new 4K remaster, which has been taken from the original source. This is a Technicolor film. It is big, it's bold, it's vibrant, it looks absolutely stunning, and this brand new 4K remaster is absolutely gorgeous. Out of this entire first wave, War of the Worlds, without a doubt, has the greatest transfer, the greatest presentation. It looks absolutely stunning. If you're only going to be picking up one of these titles or a couple of them, I definitely would recommend War of the Worlds because, again, it just looks absolutely fantastic. As far as special features go, this one has got an audio commentary from film critics Barry Forshaw and Kim Newman. It's also got another audio commentary by actors Gene Barry and actress Anne Robinson, another audio commentary by film fans, filmmaker Joe Dante, Bob Burns, and Bill Warren. It's also got a 30-minute documentary on there called The Sky is Falling. It's got a little featurette on there about H.G. Wells, the father of science fiction, who of course wrote the original War of the Worlds novel. It's also got the original 1938 Mercury Theatre radio broadcast starring Orson Welles, which is fantastic. It's also got a photo gallery on there and the theatrical trailer from the film. Look, I'm incredibly happy with this one. I think the packaging is absolutely stunning. Again, as I said, the transfer is incredible, and this one comes with my highest recommendation. Next up, we'll be taking a look at the second title in the range, which is Sorry, Wrong Number from 1948. This is a film noir starring Barbara Stanwyck and Burt Lancaster. I love my film noirs, and this is one that I'd never really heard of before, so I was very excited to jump into this one and just really explore it. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really great. I'm not a huge Barbara Stanwyck fan, so on that side of things, it kind of wasn't as enjoyable as it probably could have been for me, but I do enjoy Burt Lancaster, so there's a bit of pros and cons in this one for me. But what I love about this Imprint range is that it is giving a local distributor the chance to bring out a lot of films that I guess have flown under the radar over the years that a lot of people may not have either heard of or seen, and there's a really great way to get these smaller gems some more exposure out there. I think that's really great. I think it's really great that a film like this does get a release here on the Australian market. Now, as much as I enjoyed the movie itself, the transfer of it I was not overly impressed with. Now, this is not a criticism of Viavision or of the Imprint range as a whole. This is kind of out of their control because they don't handle the remasters. Viavision doesn't do the remasters themselves. Essentially what happens is they get licensed out a title from the studio. The studio, in this case Paramount, provides them with the master and then they just simply distribute it. So in this case, the master that the studio has provided Vision really is not up to snuff. This is essentially a movie that I feel like has been neglected over the years. You see this on a lot of classic films actually, where especially if it's not like a huge classic, it's like a movie that's kind of gone under the radar over the years. They don't get as much attention from the studio as some of the bigger movies have. So this is, I believe, as far as I can tell, the master that's been used here is probably an old master. It was probably done for an old DVD, and it's really not that great. Whoever has remastered it has applied a DNR pass across the entire thing. It's digital noise removal. That means all the film grain is wiped away from the film. I know film lovers absolutely hate it when that happens. And essentially, this is just a really bad DNR pass where everything looks really waxy. In some parts where there should be really nice, beautiful filmic film grain, it's just a mush of like digital noise. The black levels on this are absolutely crushed, so it adds up to a lot of like digital macro blocking. And there's the white levels are really creamy, and there are certain points in the movie where all these anomalies kind of occur at once, and it just adds up to just a really kind of visually unappealing master. Look, I'm probably making it sound worse than it is. It is watchable and it is passable, and I have seen masters like this before, but not from a premium label. That's where my only criticism comes from, is that I would probably expect this master to come on a title that's released for maybe $12 or $15, but not on a title that essentially costs very close to $40. I've actually passed all this feedback onto Viavision, and they were very appreciative of my direct, honest feedback on this. And look, it's just a very small thing. This is the first wave. These kind of things are bound to happen, and I know they will fix these issues up in the future. As far as supplemental features go, it's got an exclusive commentary by noir expert and Film Noir Foundation board member Alan K. Rode. It's got an introduction by film historian Eddie Muller. It's got a making of featurette, which is about 30 minutes long, called Hold the Phone. It's also got a Lux Radio Theatre broadcast starring Barbara Stanwyck and Burt Lancaster from 1950, and it also has a filmed radio play version of it from 2009, performed by the Shadowland Theatre in Allenville, USA. It's also got a theatrical trailer and a photo gallery on there as well. The special features on here are actually really enjoyable. I really like the 30-minute making of documentary. Even the introduction by Eddie Muller was really great, gives this really great insight into the background of the film. And out of all the films, it's actually one of the ones with the heftier amount of special features. Again, the movie's really great. If you're a film noir fan or a fan of classic cinema, you shouldn't be too disappointed with the movie itself. It's just that I felt that the transfer let it down, especially when we're talking about a premium Blu-ray label. Look, if you are only going to pick up a couple of the imprint titles, if you can't afford them all or you don't want to get them all, maybe this is the one that you do bypass, because out of the lot, I felt like it was the most lackluster of them all. Next up, we'll take a look at number 3, which is I Married a Monster from Outer Space. This is a schlocky B-movie science fiction film from 1958. I'd never seen it, but I really, really love this kind of stuff. I absolutely love this movie. It's so much fun. The transfer used on this is, well, on one hand, it's really great, but I know a few people probably will have some issues with it. It's gorgeously filmic. There is an incredible layer of film grain on here, all intact. It is crystal clear, absolutely crisp. But that said, there really hasn't been an effort made to clean up the film itself. So there's a lot of scratches, specks, there's a lot of noise, a lot of film warps, a lot of film tears, a lot of hairs, all that kind of stuff do kind of plague the image. But I personally found that because the movie is of such a schlocky kind of B-movie nature, it really suited the movie. It added like an atmosphere to it that you were watching this movie at kind of a grungy drive-in theater or something, and you're not watching the greatest of film prints. And I kind of feel that whoever was in charge of the master of this or remastering this, it was probably their intent to kind of leave a lot of that in place, because again, it does add this real air of schlocky old film nature to it. And I thought it was really great. For me personally, the transfer worked, but I know there will be some people out there who do prefer their transfers to be absolutely pristine, might take some issue with it. As far as supplemental content goes, there's actually not a lot included on this one here. It's actually the one title out of the lot here that has the least amount of supplemental content. It simply has an exclusive audio commentary by film critics Barry Forshaw and Kim Newman, and also a theatrical trailer and a photo gallery. Forshaw and Newman really deliver some great audio commentaries, and this one in particular is really insightful and really interesting, really gives you a good background on the film itself, as this one doesn't come with a making of featurette. This is actually a really good alternative. This one here, it does come with the highest recommendation from me. The movie itself was great. The transfer I thought was really fantastic. It worked for the film itself. And again, if you love this kind of schlocky B-movie science fiction thing from the 1950s, almost 1960s, this is definitely one to pick up. Next up, we'll take a look at title number 4 in the collection, which is The Duellists. This is the very first movie of director Ridley Scott. It was made in 1977. This is actually the newest film that is in the range, or I guess the film that was made the latest that's in the range so far, from 1977. Stars Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel. It's about these two soldiers in Napoleon's army who have like this epic years-long war. It spans decades, where these guys are just constantly dueling each other, trying to fight each other to the death. Now, I'm not usually a huge fan of this kind of movie. I do like period pieces, but sometimes they can, I guess, bore me a little bit. This wasn't all that boring, but it was just a movie that I just felt like really wasn't for me. But that said, it is actually, you know, subjectively a really, really great film, and people who enjoy these kind of movies really will enjoy this one. But the performances in here are really great. Harvey Keitel especially is fantastic, and the transfer that's been used is really, really great. It's not a colourful movie, so it's got a really muted palette, but it's really gorgeously filmic. The film grain levels are natural and really beautiful, and if you're a fan of this movie, you will not be disappointed with the transfer that has been used. As far as special features go, this one's got 2 audio commentaries, one with director Ridley Scott and another with composer Howard Blake, which also includes an isolated score track along with it. It's got an interview with actor Keith Carradine in here, and also an interview between Ridley Ridley Scott and Kevin Reynolds called Dueling Directors, which I thought was quite insightful and really quite interesting. It also has a theatrical trailer and a poster and photo gallery. Again, this movie was not my cup of tea, but I can see that this is a really beautifully made movie and the transfer is absolutely gorgeous. Fans of the movie will definitely want to get their hands on this edition, or really anyone who's interested in this kind of thing, or is a fan of Ridley Scott and wants to see his directorial debut, or if you're a fan of Harvey Keitel or anything like this, I would give this a high recommendation. Finally, we're taking a look at title number 5, the final title in the very first wave of the imprint range. This is Waterloo, made in 1970. This is a fantastic war epic. This is the kind of period piece that I really, really love. It stars Rob Steiger and Christopher Plummer. It's also got a very, very small cameo by Orson Welles. This is a really enjoyable movie. It starts out a little bit slow and then it builds up and it builds up, and there's this enormous battle sequence right at the end. And it's insane because it's all real, it's all in camera. There's thousands of men. I believe they used actual military soldiers in the film. There's hundreds and hundreds of horses, and there's actually just it's insane that you imagine something like this would actually be staged it would never be staged today. It's a really grand epic. The transfer used on it is really, really beautiful. Again, another really filmic transfer. Film grain levels are great. Again, it's not one that has a really bright, punchy, vibrant color palette, but the kind of color palette that it does have, this really muted tone, looks really great. To me, to my eyes, I kind of felt like the movie looked maybe a little bit too blue. I kind of felt like maybe the color timing was off on it a little bit, but I'd never watched the movie before, so I'm guessing this probably is accurate to the source. It's just I had never seen it before. I just thought it looked maybe a little bit blue, but that was probably an artistic decision for this particular movie. As far as special features go, this is really the barest of them all. It simply has a featurette on the making of the movie, which is a film historian, Sheldon Hall, talking about the movie for about 30 minutes. This gives a fairly interesting, decent look behind the scenes of the making of the film and the film's production, but it really is nothing more than just kind of like a talking head interview with Sheldon Hall, who tends to drone on just a little bit for about half an hour, but that's okay because if you're interested in the movie, you will like to hear what he has to say. It also has a theatrical trailer on there, and really that is it. Again, Waterloo, really enjoyed this movie. It's a big, grand epic. If you love war films, if you love Napoleonic era dramas, this movie has it all. It's a big, grand epic, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. So this release right here comes with a very high recommendation. It will not let you down. And again, that is the entire range of Viavision's first wave of imprint titles. They have already announced their second wave, which are coming out in August. I'm really excited. There are some great titles in that one as well. I'm not too sure whether Viavision will be providing review copies for any further waves down the line. I know these are really expensive, again, premium labels, so it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they were selective with what titles they hand out or whatever, but I will do my best to try and provide more reviews for these titles as we go forward with the releases. Overall, I'm very, very impressed with this range. Cosmetically, they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy we have something like this on the Australian market. Again, I love that there's no big, ugly Australian certification logos in the corner. The slipcovers are gorgeous. The artwork on the cases themselves are absolutely stunning. And on the most part, the transfers that have been used are really, really great. There's just that small hiccup with the sorry wrong number disc. But again, going forward, I think this is an issue that they'll probably be more mindful with in future waves from here. Again, these are limited to between 1,000 and 1,500 units each, depending on the film. So I cannot stress enough, if you want any of these, go out and pick them up as soon as you can. Anyone over in international markets, of course, these are exclusive to the Australian market, and some of these movies actually haven't been released anywhere around the world, so you might actually want to get your hands on them. These are region-free releases, and you can actually import them directly from the Viavision imprint website. So again, this is why I'm stressing, if you want to pick these up, pick them up straight away, because Viavision is making these available worldwide, and there is only 1,000 to 1,500 units available to go around worldwide. So if you want to pick up any of these, especially War of the Worlds, go out and pick them up straight away. Once again, thanks so much to my amazing friends over at Viavision for providing me with the entire first wave of this imprint collection. Guys, I love what you are doing with this range. This has instantly become one of my favorite ranges collections here on the Australian market. I'm overall really impressed. Again, guys, thanks for watching. As always, weighing down in the comments below, let me know your own personal thoughts on the imprint range so far. Until next time, guys, take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more like it in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen, as well as that like button down below for that little extra support. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.